Hi. Last week I played in a chess tournament held in my school, and I want to show you what I learned from it. So first, about the tournament, it was a 4-round tournament with a Swiss system. So for each round, if you win, you get 1 point. If you draw, you get a half point, and if you lose, you get 0. Time format was 7 minutes per player, with FIDE rules, of course. And this was my first chess tournament, like over the board, and I think it went quite well. Well, let's start with the first round. In the first round, I was placed against an opponent. After the game, I learned that his rating was about 1800 on chess.com, so he was stronger than me. And the game started with a Caro-Kann. I play the advanced variation as my main weapon against the Caro-Kann. My opponent played bishop f5, and I was very happy because I got to play the Tal variation. At this point, since I didn't know my opponent's rating, I thought I might get a quick win, but my opponent played h6. I kicked away his bishop with g4, and then I sacrificed my pawn on e6. Now here my opponent thought for like a minute. I mean, since each player has only 7 minutes, it was quite a long time, and I thought that I could get him in some time trouble. After a long thought, my opponent played queen d6, which is a okay move. But now I can take on f7. Now he has to take back, so I don't get his knight. And at this point I was very happy. As you see, the evaluation is quite good, 1.2, 1.3. And here I thought that it was a good idea to try to trade off my light-squared bishop, since it's a typical Caro-Kann idea, because his bishop is quite strong on this diagonal. But it turned out that it was quite a bad move. Why? Because it doesn't deal with the needs of the position, since now black can develop and strike in the center. Instead, I should have played something like computer really liked bishop h3, and after that g5 or g5 immediately. I mean, also knight f3 is an option there, simply trying to prevent e5. But I hadn't studied this, so I played bishop d3. Now my opponent struck in the center with e5. Now I thought I don't want him to play e4 and lock my bishop in, so I will rather take on h7 and make him move his rook. So that's what I did. Now the position is equal, and I thought I don't want him to allow to play like e5, get his pawn very active, limit my knight, and that's why I took, which is okay. He recaptured, and here I made my second sort of inaccuracy of the game. Computer suggests blocking with the bishop or moving the king, but I instead decided to block with the knight. And computer isn't really a big fan of it because it's quite passive. Also, black now has time to solidify, and he has just more center space and a very active queen, and also my king side is kind of weak. Now my opponent played knight f6, attacking the g4 pawn. To be honest, I think in the game I actually didn't see it, that my pawn was hanging, and I simply played knight c3, but the computer thinks it's a good move. Okay, my opponent didn't take on g4. He instead developed his bishop, adding some pressure over here. Now I had a chance to sort of get back into an equal position with f4. Instead I played bishop f4, attacking the queen, which is still an alright move. And here my opponent dropped his queen back to e6. Now I see that my g4 pawn is hanging, and I think my only good way to deal with it is to push forward. Computer just suggests giving it away and concentrating on development. I instead play g5, which is my third sort of inaccuracy of the game, which made me lose at the end. Now my opponent correctly took, I took, and sort of improved his queen placement on f5, adding pressure to f2 pawn. And my sort of last big mistake which made me lose the game was to play okay, it wasn't here, it was the next move. I defended for one move, but my opponent added more pressure and I made this blunder f4. I disconnected the queen's vision from f2, but I didn't see that my bishop now didn't see e3, and the knight can jump in with the fork. Now with nothing better to do, I offered the queen trade. He instantly took it, and we went into an endgame. At this point, we didn't have much time. We had only 45-50 seconds on the clock, and we didn't have any bonus time. The game continued on for 5-10 to 10 moves more, but it's a time scramble. I didn't have time to note it, and I lost the game. And that's how my first chess tournament started. This was my hardest round. All the next rounds I won. The next round I played against a small girl. She was a beginner, and I quickly won. The third round was against my classmate, who was also a beginner, so I won quite quickly there, simply because he made blunder. And the fourth round, which was quite interesting, I played against an opponent who was rated about 1400 on chess.com, and I played as white. I can show it probably. I played the Scotch. My opponent took, and we got a very normal Scotch, and from here on I went on to win. If I can remember correctly, I played something like this: developed, he strikes in the center. I probably won't remember the whole game. I took, I remember I developed, I remember that he castled short, and I went on to launch a devastating attack on the king side, and I won that game, which I was very happy about. And that's what my first chess tournament experience was. In conclusion, I really like the experience, and I want to play in more chess tournaments. I think that first game definitely showed the importance of knowing your middle game plans, because it was like here on move 8 that I didn't know what to do. I got the sort of better position from my opening, but I didn't know how to convert it into a significant positional or material advantage, so that's why you need to study middle games too. Also, I just remembered I have a couple of pictures from my school's Instagram, So here you can see the chess tournament. We had these very nice wooden chess pieces and these clocks. We were in 3 rows. We had a lot of players. Many students played. Here you can see sort of the overview. I am also quite sure that that's me in the corner here playing. I mean, waiting to play. And yeah, it was a very, very nice experience. These were the prizes. We had these small cups. It means chess tournament, and my school's name and the year. Also, there were some gifts to the winners. I mean, sadly, I didn't win. I got 3 out of 4, and that didn't get me into the tiebreaker. Actually, my opponent, who I played in the first round, he went to the tiebreaker, but I mean, he didn't win. There were stronger players, about 2000 rated there too, so unlucky. I mean, maybe if I improve the next year I might win. Yeah, definitely a great experience. Definitely recommend for anyone who's new to chess or an intermediate at chess to try to play in over the board tournaments, because it's so much fun, and it's not like at home sitting at your computer screen. It's a very different experience, seeing your opponent, the stress. I remember during the first game I was very stressed because I mean, I remember my breathing. I started to breathe very quickly. I was shaking, and yeah, the only way to improve that is to play more over the board, and I need that experience. I hope you enjoyed this quick little video about my first chess tournament experience. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.